Welcome back to Try Before We Die, the whiskey review show where we don't know what we're drinking, but he'll tell you what he's thinking, and so will I. So that's we'll tell you what we're thinking. Hey, Mal, I read your latest book.
Which one?
Knife.
When?
Just came out, right?
Yeah.
Salmon. Mal, welcome back to the bar. It's great to see you.
It's always good to be back here. I love being here.
All right. What do we do here?
Drink.
What?
We drink scotch and we will give honest opinions based on what we taste, what we smell, and what we see.
And we've pre-planned the bottle. We know exactly what's coming. And we're going to read from a script.
We are.
Right.
There's a teleprompter that I always look at.
Yes. Or on opposite day, everything Mal said is true.
Yes.
You want to push?
No, you go ahead.
All right. So tonight, of the hundreds of bottles of whiskey in this bar, we are going to open, taste, and let you know what we think of bottle. Got a guess?
105.
105, Mal says.
Oh, good Lord.
This is a big number. This is our highest number ever.
Really?
385.
All right.
100%. I think we've done a 355.
Wow.
In fact, I know we have. 385. We'll see everybody
In the snooker room.
quite possibly
New
right
show?
there.
Good Lord.
But we've got to do some math.
Go do it. He's lost in his own building.
It's going to... Got to do some more math. You know, sometimes you've been in a place a long time, but you can still get lost in your own museum. So it took a second. We lost track of 16 bottles, but we figured out the math. Bottle 385 is right here. We end at 382 in the snooker room. We add 3 across the top. And we are at this 1991 Knockando. Now, this is a 12-year-old, so we have not only a year of vintage, but we also have an age statement. This is a Speyside. We'll learn a little bit more at the bar, but I see this very neat white label on the back. So we'll talk a little bit about what that has to say. It's not that UK label that we usually see on some of these bottles. But anyway, Knockando 12-year-old, we'll see you back at the bar.
Try before we die with a bearded man and a British guy.
Hey, man.
You're gone for a little while.
I got lost.
You know you need to make maps.
Got him. Oh, my gosh.
Or you could take Flash's advice and just number everything.
Well, the numbering's coming, but I like this idea of maps. It brings us back to paintball.
It does.
Right? We could have missions.
We could have missions. Actually,
At least 3 people need to depart from the bar to get this bottle. 2 people have to touch the bottle, and 1 person has to bring it back, and you need a bar ref the whole time. Hopefully some of you understand what we just said. Now, we've got this 12-year-old Knockando.
Knockando.
12-year-old.
Knockando.
1991 vintage.
Don't maybe do math.
2024. Oh my gosh. So as always, we're going to open this. 1991 plus 9.
2010. 2000.
So bottled in 2000. How many between 9 and 12?
3.
Okay, very good. All right, so bottled in 2003. What do you think this white label says on the back?
Wow.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Which part?
The warning part.
All right. Have you had a Knockando before?
Once before.
Where?
Here.
What year? 1982.
Cool, that was lively.
That was a good one. So we'll get it poured and we'll talk a little bit about this white label.
Did you just like stick that white label on before?
I didn't. It went from a tenor to a baritone.
Your face. That's going to be a Christmas special. You're going to learn how to do jingle bells with these bottles.
All right, so this white label, everybody, I've mentioned it a couple times, both at the bottle pull and whatnot. So this is a Speyside.
Yep.
We should have some nutty, floral, fruity aromas in here. I'm pretty sure we're probably in a bourbon cask. We're coming in at 43%.
Okay, on the lower end.
But this bottle is an auction win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Will you read the 6th line?
The 6th line. Ooh. Huh. Stolen from the Queen of England.
Sorry.
No. Obtained from a private collection.
So not everybody all the time, but sometimes with your friends. The times are good.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, Mal. So we've got this Speyside. We've got this 43% ABV. We've got a 91 vintage bottled in roughly 2003, depending upon the months and whatnot. And they don't always get into that. I don't know that we have color or chill filtration. A big part of me wants to believe we're probably in a no color added. And the reason that I want to believe that is that we're in 1991. We're going back a long time. And this is a little bit before the craze that exists in the Scotch whiskey world right now.
Yep.
And so more suited to the individual buyer than the mass market. So again, fingers crossed that we might be able to find some evidence of this being a no color added. But coming in at 43% as well, I like more than that 40%. I love the 82 Knockando I got from my father-in-law, Dave. I think maybe in season 1, there may be a bonus episode on that. We'll dig into that a little bit. But you're a Speyside man.
Yes.
Yep.
So I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this.
Yep. So this is from, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of the Strathila Moray.
It says, to quote the bottle, the distillery of Knockando, which is Gaelic means the little black hill, lies in the heart of Speyside.
Correct. Speyside being a region. And I think the region in the region might be the Strathila Moray. We'll find out more in a TBWD fact. You looking forward to this?
I am. It's one of these ones where, again, I know Macallan, I know Glenlivet, I know Glenmorangie, I know Glenfiddich.
Yep.
Balvenie now.
I like what you're thinking, which is this is something we don't have a lot of experience with. This is a whiskey, this is a brand we don't see on the shelf all the time.
No.
I might wager this may be a brand that is often used more for blends.
Oh, okay.
Right? I'm just guessing. We don't see this a lot on the shelf. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've never seen it on the shelf here in New Hampshire. Right?
No, my perusing the freaking aisles at the local stores, I've never seen this.
Right. This is not a regular single malt Scotch whiskey offering. Right? So we have something here. Interesting.
Off the beaten path.
Off the beaten path.
All right.
All right.
Let's do some color.
Let's take a look. Well, we've got the Caps Your Wife.
I know. I love it.
Made for the show. Yeah. All right. Let's do a little bit of color. Right. Easily right off the bat, we're in some sort of a medium gold.
Yes.
Right. Right. Which would be consistent with this minimum 12-year-old whiskey in a bourbon cask. Are we wondering at all, could there be some sherry influence? Or, I wouldn't go beyond sherry at all, just as a guess for a 91 Knockando. I don't think we're in some exotic wines or anything like that. I feel like we're just in a classic Speyside whiskey is what I'm imagining.
And when you say the word classic, this is like, when I think of Speysides, this is the color I think of.
This is the color, right?
When you go to like we've had a couple Ardbegs and from different distilleries where it has a paler look.
Well, right. Again, different regions.
Correct.
Right, but again, when we're
Speyside,
going with
I think of
just this bourbon cask
and this
lighter
amber
spirit,
color.
right? But taking on color, especially since we have an age statement, so we know we're a minimum of 12 years old across the board. That doesn't mean there's not a 15-year-old barrel in here, but whatever flavor they were looking for, this is what they found. And the youngest whiskey they put in was 12. And as you've said, this was obtained from a private collection.
Mm-hmm. Your legs are starting to. And you have a weird, I have some long legs. You have this.
I've ruined them, right?
Okay, now, okay.
Oh, I see yours. You've got some nice legs.
Well, thank you.
Right. If we had speakers outside of the bar right now, you would hear a tempest.
It is like a tempest.
Yes. If it goes dark,
I'll be drinking.
we'll carry on. All right, so we have this 1991 Knockando 12-year-old age statement obtained from a private collection, 43% ABV, Speyside. We're predicting classic experience.
Yes.
Yes. Shall we nose it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a Speyside.
It's grassy,
Yep,
floral.
Sweet,
Mm-hmm.
but not overly sweet. So I'm going to agree with you. I don't think this did a sherry.
Yeah, little nutty.
I'm going to say the bourbon.
Yeah. Good aroma. Not very punchy on the ABV. Consistent, remaining very similar across the nosings.
Yeah. And almost, I would describe it as like a wine smell.
I was going to say, if there was something going on here besides a bourbon classic Scotch Speyside, if it had another influence, whether it be a sherry or a wine cask, it was done the way that I like my tuna steaks done. They walked it past. And so if this has taken on any other influence, it's because it spent time in the same room as a different cask. It's very light, if at all. I still feel like we're just in a Speyside. I mean, the color, right?
The smell, definitely. I mean, it's just...
There's just this slight hint, and I hear you on this slightly winey hint. But there is no indication whatsoever on the label suggesting anything different. And again, I feel like if there was something off the beaten path, it would be noted as part of the labeling. So, Mal, did you know that women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy because of the risk of...
Oh, so it was right. There is a warning on that
There is a
label.
warning, right? Yes. Okay. Well,
That's very pleasant.
yeah, very pleasant. Nice rifled legs at this point in my glass. Floral,
Yep.
grassy, a little bit nutty, consistent.
And just smooth.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Knockando.
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 1991 12-year-old private collection. Easy, medium, or hard? Mild, moderate, or severe?
Easy.
Mild. Yeah.
What I like about this, there's a lovely sweet taste at the very back.
Mm-hmm.
You get this typical Speyside nutty floral sort of, and then you have this little sweet, like it's almost like when you've put sugar into a hot drink and it doesn't quite all get off the spoon, and you put it in your mouth and you have a little hint, but it's really, really pleasant.
Yeah. The nuttiness 100% generates that tingle on my tongue. The sweetness, ever so slightly spicy in the very back, ever so slightly. The warming of the 43% ABV, mild and easy. Not super complex.
Nope. But enough pieces in there to make you want to think about what's in there.
Mouthfeel isn't thin, but it's just beyond.
Not quite medium. I'm not
Right.
getting a mouthful.
Right, not getting a mouthful.
But I'm definitely getting a coating.
Right. It's just beyond. Right.
And I'm going to stick with this. That ending is, it's almost like there's a drop of sugar in it at the very end. And I do sugar, you don't, so you may not really recognize that. But it's right there at the very end.
Helps the medicine go down.
Mm-hmm.
I wish, and though I'm also pleased that I wish we still had the 82 to do a little
Taste.
private comparison. But this is a Speyside.
By all definitions.
Right. And it's not as light as a Speyside can be. It's leveled up just
it's got
a
a little
little
punchiness
bit.
to it.
Just a little bit, right? It's elevated just a little bit.
And I think, so let's just go back to this. So because this is off the beaten path.
Mm-hmm. Right, the distillery itself. We don't see these
I think
labels.
that in itself, for me personally, I'm having a hard time to pull out the normal go-tos when I think of Glenfiddich or something, and I have these notes that I know I'm going there.
Super familiar whiskey. We've had this so many times.
Whereas this is different enough that you have to start to think about the definition of a Speyside.
Yeah.
Or what you want to define as a Speyside. And I like the fact that we have bottles that come off the beaten path, that introduce this region that we go to on a regular basis, but brings in these different flavors, these different tastes, different makeups, different builds that these people put together. Because this is really pleasant. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's the definition of a Speyside.
So we have this, and the nutty, the floral, the fragrant, the grassy, slightly sweet, right? I believe as of March of 2024, there are 143 distilleries in Scotland now, right? And so when you're at your local shop and you see the 12 or the 15 represented on the shelf, right? Know that there are over 100 more out there, right? And due to the blend market, many of these are owned solely or wholly or mostly for the blend market. And we're going to TBWD fact and find out, I don't know what I'm talking about, but there's slight chance that we will find something about the Knockando.
And how it's used.
And how it's used, right? So there are so many whiskeys out there that we don't see regularly on our shelves, right? I know in New Hampshire where we're located, right, there are not 143 different distilleries represented on the shop shelf.
No.
Right? Whether you're in the small town or the big one, right? It's just not that way. And so take your time, do your research. Don't be afraid to pull the trigger on something you're unfamiliar with. You may be very pleasantly surprised, especially if it's a representative classically of a region.
Agreed.
Right? So for instance, the opposite of that would be a peated Highland.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Or an unpeated Isla. Right? But here, in my opinion, we have a nice representation of a Speyside.
And to just expand what the fact that we get to travel a little bit as well,
mm-hmm.
and we get to go and find different bottles is what makes this journey more exciting. Because you're right, we could stick to all the big guns. We could stick to the names that everybody would know. But I don't ever go to a store and go, oh, I'm going to get a Knockando. I'm just not thinking about it. When I go to stores, I don't. But what I will say, having spent 4 seasons here and many years of drinking with it, when I now go to a liquor store, it's not to the big ones. I don't just look at the big names. Right. I can now look at different ones and go, you know what? We did try that. And that was a good distillery and I enjoyed it. To go back to this is a perfect example of Speyside, but it's not the Speyside that you would think of by the name.
And I absolutely not only agree with you there, but agree with you earlier. In my last sip, the ending note was sugary sweet.
Yeah.
So I do know what sugar tastes like. It's just, to quote our friend Chucky, sugar is poison. However, it was sugary sweet.
Yeah.
Well, this 1991 12-year-old Knockando, obtained from a private collection, coming in at 43% ABV, it seems to be, and I think we're in agreement, a classic Speyside. Floral, grassy, nutty, fragrant, ending with just this hint of sweetness. Mm. It's nice.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. Well, let's see what the crew has for us.
It matters not if the glass is half empty or half full. There is clearly room for more. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. All right, so this Knockando, this 1991. I wish we had the 82 to compare it to, but it turns out we may have a moment at some point in the future because there is a 92 on the shelf as well. So I look forward to that opportunity. It will go into the pile of, we'll get to it later because it's still pretty full, but this is enjoyable.
Yes, I'm going to thoroughly agree with what you just said.